Hi, I'm Kara from James Madison University and here with the English channel of the Trento Economics Festival. Nice to meet you too. So I was wondering, with the increase in the wage gap in the United States from technology over spillovers, how has this really affected the growth of the U.S. economy, and consequently then how has that led to maybe a stagnation of growth in emerging economies as well?
Well, yeah, so I'll do it in two parts. On the American economy side, this has now been increasingly well studied, right? So we had globalization, which took out jobs on the tradable side of the economy, and now we have technology, which for some time, and prospectively even faster, takes out both white and blue-collar jobs on both the tradable and non-tradable sides. So the net effect has been what the economists have come to call job and income polarization, right? Decline in the middle income group, decline in middle income jobs, and so on. Very real, well documented. In terms of growth, I would say, the primary effect, and it is negative, is that this is a group of people who, while they may save at reasonable rates, save at way lower rates than where most of the money and wealth is going. And since most economies, including the American one, at least until recently, most economies even now, and the American one until recently are constrained in terms of growth by demand, as opposed to productivity and supply side things, that's a fairly big negative. And so I think over time, what we're going to have to do is adopt a set of policies, hopefully sensible ones, that move income into the lower to middle part of the income distribution, and at the same time help people adjust to a very different job market structure so that they have higher paying and more rewarding jobs. But that really takes time. I mean, those are big adjustments. And so I think the short-term income support through the tax and other systems that we have is probably pretty important. So I think that's probably our biggest challenge, actually. American economy is structurally pretty flexible. Parts of it are still quite innovative, like parts of Europe, where we seem to look like we're politically fragmenting a little bit, although we don't know the outcome yet. On the developing country side, there's a very big issue, which is the best known growth model for early stage developing countries, that is, ones that are below where China is now, well into the middle income transition, has come to become called the Asian growth model. And for countries that don't have a ton of natural resource wealth, that basically means developing via investment, comparative advantage in labor-intensive sectors, like textiles, apparel, shoes, electronics assembly, etc. And it looks like robotics is about to overtake that. I'll mention it this afternoon, but the latest announcement I saw is that Adidas, one of the top two athletic shoemakers in the world, has announced that by the end of next year, I think it's the end of next year, they will open a fully automated, robotized athletic shoe facility in Germany. And there's two more planned. And it's clear from just, you don't even have to be an expert, that robotics has moved into electronics assembly, which is a huge sector in the global economy. This has all kinds of implications. It means that the assembly and parts of manufacturing will move toward the markets and not toward slightly immobile, pools of valuable labor. It means the development model has question marks in the first few stages. Some people characterize this as taking the bottom rungs off the ladder. And we don't really know the answers. So there's some intriguing cases. India has developed, not without manufacturing, but with much less emphasis on it, and especially manufacturing exports than many other countries. And it's had its headwinds, seems to be pretty successful now. Maybe it's an important case study. to anticipate this world we're getting into where, the digitally capital-intensive technologies essentially take over a lot of things. The other thing to say about the economics of that is once the digitally capital-intensive technologies pass in terms of cost, overall cost, these other labor-intensive ones, you can't. There's no turning back. I mean, they're high fixed, low variable costs. They have big software components. The software replication costs are zero or close to it. There's just no way you can kind of get back to cost competitiveness once they take a sector over.